Hi there. Welcome to SheSight Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. CV, and here we dive into real stories of women who are making an impact, women who inspire, innovate, and lead change in their fields. SheSight is a platform that amplifies women's voices, celebrates their journeys, and builds a strong community of empowerment and growth. Today, we have with us an inspiring education strategist and mentor who has helped shape countless student journeys, Dr. Bobby Rao, the founder and director of Top Career Guide based in the UAE. Dr. Bobby Rao is a visionary education strategist with over 17 years of experience spanning healthcare, education, and career development. From a dentist to a dynamic career counselor, she has transformed how students and professionals navigate their learning and career paths. Through Top Career Guide, she connects learners globally with opportunities, skill programs, and mentorship that prepare them for success in today's evolving world. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and welcome Dr. Bobby Rao. Very warm welcome to you, Dr. Bobby Rao. It's amazing and fantastic to learn more about you today. I'm really excited to understand your journey and what is that lessons that our audience can learn from your story. So let's get started with your personal growth journey, where as a young girl, how did you navigate this entire career and life journey and reached where you are today? Take us through that story.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much, Dr. CV. It's very nice having me being invited here. So that's a good question because that almost covers the entire journey of my life.
Yeah.
Like now, when you see the lots of different careers, like 12,000 plus careers, but back then there were only five which everybody knows, and even today, I think lots of parents still think there are only five. That's doctor, engineer, accountant, a
So wait,
lawyer,
wait,
those
wait. I
kind of
know
things. So the same.
doctor, engineer. I thought only two. And the third was lawyer was for people who are not studying that much. Hmm.
But in that process, and then if you see back, uh, down south at least, because I'm from Chennai, every household will have a doctor parent and an engineering parent.
Oh.
So having said that, my dad just led me through that direction, if I can say that, and I always wanted to be a doctor right from when I was in second standard.
Hmm.
So I, like some kind of a doctor. But I needed the doctor in my name because I know that time itself I knew that's the only thing which stays with you, right? Because it's in your
Yeah.
name, it's you add on the privilege,
Yeah.
whatever you do in your life. So I said, okay, I want. And then I was always uh, keen towards biology, and then I was always thinking in that direction. So when I finished my grade 12 and being an NRI, I think that year in India they had blocked the government seats for medical students or something. NRI issue was there, NRI quota, and so the next option was dentistry, and it was in a private college. So just joined in. So that's where my journey started. But when I went in, it was a whole new world because everything was oral and this and that. It was like different. But yeah, but through the process was beautiful. I enjoyed the journey. I was became very passionate towards the industry. I used to upscale myself as soon as I finished. That is my final year. I got through. During the internship, I joined for work. So I had a parallel work while studying. That was almost while finishing before even I got a graduation.
Hmm.
And that's how passionate I was. And immediately after I finished, my dean called me and offered a job as a tutor. That was like a crown on my thing. That's when this, I think the education part of it struck me that, I can teach, I like this. So that was always there within me. And then I moved on from there. I went into another university, and then I was working in SRM for 6 years, as a lecturer. So that like kind of enhanced me. I used to take lectures for hundreds of students. So that kind of was already inbuilt. So that gave me the leadership, the authority, and that developed my personality. So that's when the journey started, and worked there. I used to even weekends I used to go and work in volunteer myself for dental camps around and all that because that's how passionate I was in dentistry. It's not that I just moved or shifted. So having said that, then I moved here 21 years back now in UAE. So yeah, it was like kind of restarting everything around because UAE was tough that time in terms of exams. There were only two exams every year. There was no online. You understand? 21 years back, there was no internet. There was no nothing, and most of them was like getting information was difficult. Commuting was difficult because husband used to work full job full-time job. So anyway, the entire process took me almost because it was only two exams per year. Luckily, I cleared the first attempt. So 1.5 years. By then, I had my child, and then I joined my work as soon as I was ready to work. And then came the when you have a child, and then 9 to 5 job is not there, so you have a two-shift job. So
Yeah.
that became a little difficult. But then yeah, I was carrying on. Then we had help. Then we had my parents come in, move in. Then I moved into a profession where it was like we used to go for dental camps, and so that kind of ignited my education part of it and being close to children again.
Mm.
So almost 6 7 years we worked in that. It was a epidemiological studies which we did in school for dental awareness program kind of thing. We created a campaign in an organization where I was working, and then get the studies. And every year we used to revisit some of the schools and get the results, make the graphs, show the thing. We used to submit it back to the government to see what is the changes, what is the awareness got into the children. So that kind of association with children and me was always there alongside. So yeah, alongside of that is when I started my Vedic math tutor, and I used to tutor kids at home. During that process, also usually math and science is what I used to take. Just known people, friends, kids. It's not like for money, but because of out of passion. Then came, I think, 2017. I wrapped up everything. I said, no, I have done everything for a lot of kids. Let me just concentrate on my kids right now. So, and my younger one was already born, like he was starting school, or he was just in KG1, KG2. I said I needed my time with the children, so that's why I transition out of it. Then moving on to it, yeah, that's when I started the company. I think we can talk about it again.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's like, now I need to get back to job. So
Uh,
what's next? So I said, okay, because being a dentist, I didn't think that I can start an education as my profession initially, though I
mm,
was passionate towards it. So I did my MBA
mm,
in hospital management, because I think that's the next thing, to be
mm,
close to the hospital, being a doctor. When you finish it, what happens in this part of the world is like you're overqualified
mm.
and inexperienced,
Yeah.
right? So that's when it comes, because there's a lot of people already in the market.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, that's when I was started to explore. I said, let me intern and all that, and then COVID hit.
Mm,
So I luckily the organization, the university where I did my MBA, they offered education counseling. I'm
mm.
like, okay, this is a chance. So I started with that journey, because that was where it made me click that yes, I need to move now. Switch over. And yeah, then that's the story it became. This was like during, almost end of COVID. During that time is when I started the journey.
Mm,
Oh, obviously MBA, and then my certifications. And then after that, it was like, now what? Do
mm,
you want to work for somebody, learn? Because then if you work for someone, I mean, there's nothing wrong in it, but you start limiting, your limitations are very little.
mm,
It's not like I can be in all, and I can be in all the baskets. I have to be only in that basket where I've been assigned to it. And I
mm.
didn't want to do that, because I wanted to actually start up. I always had that business thing in me, because I still have a lot of ideas. I'll share ideas with my friends. I'll give them ideas, do this, do that. So I said, why not I started? So that's when the journey began. And yeah, 2 years down the lane, I'm very happy where I am.
Perfect. Wow, that's a great story.
Yeah, that's a great
I've listened
story.
to I've listened to hundreds of women's stories like yours, highly achieving professionals through this podcast. And there's an interesting common thread in all of them, which is about how they are navigating their family, especially their children. And sometimes every, professional woman will have to
True.
take a step back in their career before actually leaping forward. So that brings me to this question of you said that you were always entrepreneurial and you wanted to do something for yourself. That's brilliant. Tell us, I also understand that it was a natural progress from your educational counseling role, which you held before. Tell us when you conceptualized Top Career Guide, what were the differences that you want to bring to this field? How different are you from a regular consultancy or educational consultancy or career company?
Before I think going ahead, I can give you a small brief why I went into this after my education counseling and MBA,
Mm.
because
Yep.
that's, as I told you, that's then when my daughter was going through her, high school.
Mm.
And since she was in an IB curriculum, it's totally different from a CBSE curriculum, how you do your work, how you present your skills, how you enhance your profile. and how you apply to the universities. The procedure is different. As I mentioned, it was during the COVID time, and the help was restricted. We didn't have external sources, or that time the online just started, getting reaching out. So you didn't know where to access for people or get into this. Online facility was there, but not so much like you could access anybody and everybody, right? So that's when I started researching myself. So, look into the universities. She's currently studying in the US, by the way, in the final year now.
Oh, good.
So we started looking into the universities. What are the options? How do we build a profile, and how are the steps needed? So that gave me so much of insight. I'm like, there's so much of information where a lot of parents not aware of it. In
Mm,
spite of having a counselor at school, the school career counselor at school, we never got so much of detailed information. They used to help us. Okay, now it's the time for admissions. Apply. This is the
mm,
only information we used to get from school. How to apply, where to apply, how do you select the universities? How do you unselect the universities, or how do you take the negatives, positives, and small, small things. For example, the people who go with the university ratings, right? Which if I ask any parent, they'll say, "Oh, Harvard is the best in the world, so I'm going to go to Harvard."
yeah,
But you should see whether your subject is the best in Harvard. You
correct.
know, but then it's a big difference when you see. It's a very small thing, but then when you go into the bigger universities, there'll be one professor teaching 200 students. Which, those are the things which I found out myself. Those are the things which I feel the career counselor should have given the insights. So
Mm,
that led me to the thing that there is a lot of gap in between this. That's when I said, okay, I'll get into the career. Obviously, for my daughter, we did take an external source. Again, I felt there was a lot of, ifs and buts in that. And most of the work we had to do it along the process, though we had the counselor. So I was like kind of trying to edge the dot, and then I said, when I really finished it, and when I like my daughter finished and joined the university, and I said, okay, I think I am the person who's going to bridge the gap. So when you see into our website, we call it a one-stop solution for your children's needs. Whether you want help with the academic tuitions, or your profile, or the journey university listing, everything is what we will lead them to.
mm,
So during that process is when I found where are the loopholes, and I said, if we get into it, those are the loopholes which I'd like to, tackle. And the main intention was create that awareness, that gap of creating awareness that every parent can help the child. It's not that you need a counselor. So that's the gap which I wanted to more concentrate on. For me, it's not about business. For me, it is about making a difference.
mm,
That's what was my main aim. See, when I've already told you, I've had a 17 years, 18 years of my dental career. So
mm,
it is not that, I'm looking for the monetary part. Yeah, during the process, everybody needs money. That's not a thing. But I started this because I wanted to make a difference. I
mm,
wanted to make a difference that every parent can do this. It's not rocket science. Everything is just awareness. But sorry to say, down 2 years down the lane, I still feel whenever I go into the business networking, parent networking, they are still unaware, but they still do not want to know on the other side. So I
mm,
always ask them one question, when you're sick, you go to a doctor. When you need an assistant with your lawyer, your property, you go to a lawyer.
yeah,
When you need parlor work, when you want to work on yourself, you go to a parlor. But
mm,
when your child needs an education advice, why do you just depend on school? Because it's
yeah.
totally wrong. Because school is for academics. You can't
Forget
depend on
school.
school
I'll
for
tell
it.
you what
School will get.
happens. Forget school. If they at least listen to school, that will be better, I would say. But most people, I still remember back in India, people take career decisions depending on what the neighbor's son or child does.
I'm
Secondly,
telling you,
what a random person on the street will advise, you know,
otherwise,
say
they
people are still reluctant to,
it's kind of a competition for them.
yeah.
Neighbor's child is doing chess, so my child has to do chess. It's like that. I mean, still, and I'm sorry to say, it's still the same. I'm still, and even in spite of staying in UAE, I find so many people, because here we have a different set of schools. Yeah, because when the parents have different curriculum here, like as I said, IB and IGCSE, American, even CBSE, and most of the curriculums, obviously, because Indian population is more, so we have students in all categories. The only main difference is from the CBSE curriculum, 90% of the students go back to India, 5% stay here, and 5% go internationally. But IGCSE, IB curriculum, most of them go internationally. So even those parents, if you ask now, they wait till, especially CBSE students, they wait till grade 12. Let my child finish grade 12, then we'll decide what he wants to do.
Mm,
You know, that kind of a thing is still around. So
mm,
that's where I wanted to stop and break the barrier. And I'm like, I don't mind if I'm going to take a little longer time to establish as a career counselor, but awareness is what I concentrate. So I go to a lot of networking events, just because I know there'll be, women entrepreneurs around, and I tell them, like, see, you need to start early. You need to, if you
correct.
don't know, then reach out to us. You have to give the child, because gone are the days when you finish your 12 and then join into something and then explore what the subject is.
Correct.
Kids do that. I mean, maybe you, me, everybody have done that. Like I said, joined the dentistry, then understood what it was.
Now, listen, I'll tell you how I decided my graduation. Okay. So,
Go
because
ahead.
I'm talking about 20 years back now, not 20, even slightly more. So you can imagine there's no career counseling. There's nobody to tell you what
Yeah,
what you are good at or how you can choose a career or anything. So you finish your 10th and your the 12th, the 2 years after that. And then the only
yeah,
thing which my parents and my people around, because I was more than average kind of a student, so obviously you have to choose science. There's no other subject you
yeah.
should be looking at.
That's
And then I ended up
true.
obviously choosing science again. In science, how do I choose science? Which all subjects I like: physics, chemistry, maths, biology. Oh,
Yeah, you're
biology.
good at
mm,
biology, so doctor.
no, listen, that's where the story is. I didn't choose biology because my cousin or somebody who actually went to college at that time, who was elder than me, she used to come home and tell, I did dissecting a cockroach today. So I'm like, no way I'm going to do that. so, so I didn't choose biology. And then I ended up choosing physics, chemistry, maths. Then I realized that during my plus two time, only I realized that I am zero at maths. I flunked in maths. I could have actually chosen biology had somebody told me. Anyway, jokes apart, I did a chemistry graduation because, again, for the reason that the college, which was my parents said that they will not send me to a place which is little away, so or even out of the city, out of the state. So obviously, I had to choose the nearest college. So I went to the nearest
Yeah,
college, and the subject which I could choose was, okay, fine. Let's, out of the physics, chemistry, maths, I think I am good at chemistry. So I ended up choosing chemistry. So after finishing that 3 years, or including the 12th, like 5 years of education, is when I realized that no, I'm not good at science. I mean, of course, I did score high marks, 80% back then, but still, I didn't want to choose that as a career. Instead, I wanted to do MBA. So that was a total pivot. So I don't regret actually spending my time back then, doing a big
yeah,
course, because I did my studies in a very ordinary government, semi-government kind of a college where the fees itself was less than $100 in today's this thing.
yeah.
But
Correct.
imagine in today's context, where university education is so exorbitantly high, you can't take a risk on what the subject you are choosing, right? And that is
True.
where I think
Definitely.
your role or your service as a consultant or as a career counselor matters
Makes a
a
big
lot.
difference.
Yeah. Hi. Sorry to interrupt. I know you're enjoying that podcast, but did you know that only 3% of women led businesses scale beyond their home region? Yes, you heard it right. And it's not because they lack potential or capabilities. It's because they lack the network, visibility, and the global access to growth. Hi, I'm Dr. CV. I've been a social entrepreneur trying to solve this exact same challenges that I spoke about to support women's skill development and entrepreneurship development, and have even won the UN Award for my works in this domain for the past decade. What started as a small venture back in India is now a global organization. SheSight Global aims to support every Indian woman with big dreams to scale her ideas globally. I built the She Power Club, SheSight Magazine, and all the other support system that I wish I could have gotten when I started my ventures as an entrepreneur almost a decade back. So today, just by being part of the She Power Club, you gain visibility, credibility, and the brand reach that you are really wanting for. So if you are a woman-led brand from India or an Indian women entrepreneur anywhere across the globe, I have good news for you. We take you places where you want to go. you've been always dreaming for. So, why wait more? Come join the ShePower Club today. Get visibility, get referrals, get global access, and take your business where you wished for. If you're interested to join, all you have to do is to send a message through one of our social media platforms, and one of our wonderful She ambassador across the globe will reach out to you. See you there. Okay, let's get back to the podcast now. So that's actually one thing which I wanted you to talk a little more is about um, how can parents as well as students themselves identify what they are good at? Do they need to actually take a scientific test like psychometric
Yeah.
test or something, or is there a natural way of
Yes.
identifying their
Yeah.
interest areas?
No. See, the main thing is we usually ask, depends on what state the child's parents come to us, okay, or the child comes to us. Uh, so I do not advise psychometric analysis for all children.
Mm.
Why? I will say that. I will explain that as well. I'll give you my own example. If at all, I would have done a psychometric analysis for myself during school because I know my traits. Then also, I had that leadership quality, that the boyish character and everything. I'm the third daughter of my parents, so I'm considered the boy of the house. So I'm always on the boyish side. So having that, I'm saying the buoyant and flirting thing. So I never thought. Uh, what I'm saying is the authority was always there. So having said that, so when if I had done my psychometric analysis then in my grade 12 or 11, I'm sure it would have never shown me science or dental path.
Mm.
Okay, but from my childhood, because I wanted to be a doctor, because I wanted to be a dentist, I put in all my hard work to become that. So when you're passionate to become a doctor, you will do anything. Or when you're passionate to become an engineer, you'll do anything, regardless what your psychometric analyst says. Okay. Definitely the psychometric analysis would have showed something else. I would have started my entrepreneur journey long back. You
Yeah.
understand? But
Yeah.
because my hard and fast thing said I want to, so I always tell the parents, if your child is undecided and not passionate about anything and not sure what he wants to do, then do psychometric analysis.
Okay.
If your child is very sure, let them stick to that because invariably they
Figure
will
out a way.
put heart and
Yeah.
soul and they will successful.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how I usually tell them. It's not about making. I can get money. I'll say okay, psychometry costs X amount. Give me amount. I can get the test done. That's what lots of people. I'm not saying it's wrong, but that's how they do because some people believe that will be a correct direction to give them.
Yeah.
But I will always tell them because that is also a correct direction if you ask me. Because if your character trait and your psychometric says you have to become this, one particular journey, then definitely it's easier.
Yeah.
But and I do not usually advise them saying, if you're passionate about something and you think you can achieve it, you're ready to put in your hard work, and there's a lot of things. Medical takes 15 years. This one takes those years. If you're ready to do that dedication work, then stick on to it. If not, then
Mm.
get your psychometric test done, and then you'll find which is your best option,
Yeah.
and then take in that. It's like that.
Mm.
So psychometric definitely gives you top four or top five careers in which your child can be good at.
Yeah.
But again, the problem comes is people think I take psychometric analysis when my child is ninth grade and I'm done with it. Okay, we'll stick with it. And again, that is a wrong concept because child's mental development keeps happening throughout.
Mm.
It's different for a boy and a different for a girl. So what you take in grade 9 is different from what your child's psychometric analysis in grade 12 will
Yeah.
match. Simple thing. Maybe the psychometric test has got only simple questions. It's not subject related, right? It can ask which is your favorite color in case you are inclined towards the child in grade 9 will say a girl will say pink or something. But in the same child in grade 12 will say purple or red or something else, because the mental development of the child is moved.
Mm.
So smallest thing makes a difference. So you need to repeat it again.
Yeah. So that actually brings me to the question. From your experience so far, what are the big challenges or barriers that parents bring in this case of deciding for a child's future? I know, like, there are a lot of parents who are forcing the career options on their children, who expect them to be, if it's a doctor, they want their child also to be a doctor. So
True.
there's always this parental
True.
pressure on children, especially on Asian kids and Indians specifically.
Yeah.
So
No, no.
tell us your
Nowadays it's
experience of.
moved from pressure to kind of passion.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's moved from pressure to passion. Before it was like you have to do it, so you have to do it. Like that it was during our generation. Now it's like I was an engineer, but I could not practice. Your dad's an engineer, so you have to be an engineer. That becomes it's like a more of a soft push. But the child thinks, oh, my parents are obviously, they want to fill that space and they try to be in that thing. Sometimes it is a force. I had a student and a parent totally against. The parent said, no, I am an engineer, my wife is an engineer, my son has to be an engineer. I
Okay.
said, okay, because when we do counseling in the initially career counseling thing, I say I'll talk to parents and I'll talk to the child with the parent, then I talk to the child without the parent, so that the child gives us a little more insight.
Mm.
So when we get an insight, what we do is we talk to the child. So this particular child, when I was talking to him, he said, I don't want to do engineering because my parents want me to do engineering, but I rather want to go into Air Force.
Mm.
It was a totally different thing. And then he said Air Force, and I want to serve the nation, and I'm inclined towards playing soccer. It was totally a different scenario altogether. Then I said, okay, in that case, how do we get this gap? Then he said, no, for my parents' sake, I'll do the engineering, but still I will write my exam to get into the army nation. So
Mm.
now I had to break it down for him. I said, you need to understand whether you need to you want to be an engineer because your parents are saying, or whether you like the uniform of the Air Force,
Mm.
or whether you want to do the flying because of because you like being a pilot,
Yeah.
or because you want to, we had to break it down like that to him to understand, or you want to serve the nation.
Yeah.
So it became like now from one profession became four different options for him. And
Mm.
then again, that's the process we take the child through it. That's what I'm just trying to understand. Like, we try to bridge that gap and see we can't offend the parents nor the child. So we need to see how we can bridge those two gaps and bring in.
Mm.
And now the era is all about interdisciplinary units, right?
Mm.
So you can mix and match any profession to any profession you want and make them come out with majors and minors added accordingly. So you can get a combination of it. Another student we had for music, because the child wanted to do music production as a take as a music production as their main thing major. But again, the parent was like, what can a child do with music? It's still that question mark is always there.
Yeah.
Then we had to bridge the gap. So we said, okay, which is the subject the child is good in? Physics, chemistry, math. The child is very good in all of that. Not the child is a bad student. That's why they're choosing music. Okay, then we said, okay, let's do an internship for the child, which will bridge this. So we have these facilities. We're all tied up with organizations in US, so where
Mm.
they offer kind of internship programs and they design it for you. Like,
Mm.
you'll have a mentor. So then we had a talk with them and we said, okay, this is the scenario. So what they did is they took the physics part of it and took the sound waves, which is related to music,
Mm. That's
and
very
they
good.
designed a course for the student, or 8 weeks course. So the child understood the importance of physics and music, how you can inculcate. So now when the child is going to choose, definitely he'll choose an organization or a university which has got made he'll be majoring in one of this engineering or the physics part of it, keeping music as a second minor.
Mm.
So those options are available now, but parents have to utilize the options.
Yeah.
They do, I mean, it comes with a bigger money because it's all US related courses. But then we make the student do these kind of courses while they're at school so that they can pick and choose what they want.
Yeah.
Like
Sounds good.
nowadays, even engineering, if you say medical, law internships are available while the
Wow.
student are at school. Do these 8 week programs, come up with a presentation. You want to publish your paper, publications are available. So all these help child not
Mm.
only build a profile but understand the importance of all these things.
Mm.
How do you choose? Gives a global exposure, gives your vicinity on vision of how those departments also work, just not what they want to.
Yeah.
So I always say start early, give your child multiple options so the child chooses what they want to go. That
Correct.
leads, and when they choose what they want to do, they choose out of passion. So
Yeah.
they will never go wrong
Correct. Perfect.
instead of we telling what to do. So they're never going to go wrong. So they will always work towards it and they will see how they'll upskill and how they will be better at what they're doing.
Yeah.
Instead of we saying do this and then do this. I have seen a lot of parents now. I know 3 parents who have told engineering they want to be pilots. The children want to be pilot. One I know my own friend's son. He's now right now into here. But they said no, do engineering, then go for pilot training. There's nothing wrong. It is good. But then the child loses that 4 years of engineering. So the pilot training goes on for longer time.
Mm.
So when a child can finish in 5 years, now this boy is still struggling in 8 years to find a place for himself. That's the point there.
Course career counseling is important. You covered so many different examples. what I was thinking at that time is, let's say a student, imagine, I'm going to give you a live case, okay? Imagine um, a student, or maybe someone who is a little older, especially in this context where people are getting laid off, especially, a
Yeah,
lot of people are getting laid off, and
true.
you yourself has undergone this career transition, a total different career choice that you have taken. So if somebody is coming to you with an objective of telling that, you know what, I've worked in the industry for 10 years or 15 years, and they just laid off me and I don't have a job, and I want to do some course or something and enter into a totally different career. How will you work with them in a structured manner and,
Guide them. Yeah.
yeah, guide them?
So, surprisingly, there is something called professional psychometric test.
Mm-hmm.
So this is for the older people, like how you say, they'll have just to see whether what they've been doing is correct or what they can do add on, which will enhance their profile.
Yeah.
So we do advise those people to do that. First thing. Second thing is we ask them what they want to do. So mostly, what we have people in that age when they're coming, like, after having experience, they come, I want to do PR, I want to just settle down in some other country. Tell me whatever I can, I'll do. That's the attitude they have. They're
Mm.
not that passionate and I want to do something. That's not the attitude we get. So
Okay.
there's no point in counseling them over it, because then we have to only choose a country which is giving PRs and say these are the countries which are giving PR. You want, we'll find a course for you. If you want to do upskill, it's not that they're coming for guidance for the career.
Yeah.
If there are very few will come for guidance for career, that's when we tell them there is a professional psychometric test, take it.
Mm.
Because then, since you're anyway planning to move or upskill, do what is more relevant to you. So you'll spend lesser time exploring, and then obviously, along with that, we'll tell them to do internships, or there are now online internships available. Like, a lot of websites offer online free internships. So do it alongside. So you will get a work experience as well. So you'll not be a beginner, and then upskill and start applying for jobs according to that.
Yeah.
So now that the world is fully moving towards AI, so AI is something I myself am doing the courses, because I feel it's not that I need to be used or whatever, but I need to be in the trend to understand how that works to even guide students, right?
Correct.
So I can't just say, oh, use ChatGPT to find, but I should tell them how they have to use. If they're
Mm.
writing any essays, or even to polish it or just to get pointers from them, they have to write on their own. But then how you have to enhance it? I even might tell my son sometimes, when he's doing a presentation or something, I'll say, put it in AI. It will show you how you can improvise your presentations. Then go back and do on your own. But at least you'll get an idea. So
Yeah.
that exploration, I think, option should be given to everybody. So
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yeah. And regarding AI and this whole transition thing, when you spoke about universities, I know that your company has a lot of university partnerships and you help students to choose the best university based on their goals and interests. Um, and this is a very off tangent question. As someone who is working I'm actually working in a university, and you are someone who actually brings students into the university. One question that I wanted to know is, what do you think will be the future of university education, as a counselor, or someone who guides the student? Where right now everybody is saying, okay, AI can give you answers. You don't need a university degree. Even big companies are saying that we don't need a university degree. We are just looking for skill sets. So how do you, or what do you see is the scenario that's going to shape up in the coming years?
That's a very good question. Actually, because yeah, you learn how to do AI, you don't have to even go to the university. That's what a lot of people
No,
say.
that's
But if you don't have the
in
true,
fact why I
you need
asked
to
this.
have.
In fact, why I asked this question is because I know at least a few Gen Zs, like people who are right now in their 18, 19 years, who decided, I'm not going to the university now, who just finished high schools. I'm not going to university now. I don't need a university degree. Or maybe they'll say, like, I'll wait for a few years to understand what is going to happen in the AI world, because
Understand.
I don't know whether that course will be valid. So this is a valid concern that we are facing right now. So that's why.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because you see, I tell students, the difference between education and learning. There's a big difference. Education, learning, if you see this, it's two different meaning. Education is something which only school can give you, the discipline, the mannerism, the, going 8 to 9 thing. You can't go to a job if you don't have the discipline of, waking up at 8 o'clock, coming back, and those kind of discipline only a school will give you.
Yeah.
You're staying at home, homeschooling kids don't have that kind of a discipline. Yeah, parent will push it, but then you have to catch the bus on time. So this comes, even you have to go sign in, you get into the school, punch in early. So that comes with work, right? Even work has got all those things. So discipline and mannerism, and schools will give you examinations, so your pressure points, all this only school can give you. If you're sitting at home and doing these AI courses, there's no pressure point. It's open book learning, everything is available. So that kind of that journey of that development of the brain of disciplinism and mannerism, and that punctuality, time management, teamwork. Big the question is your time management to finish the skills on time. All that is you will never learn if you don't go to school or you don't go to universities, right? Because if you're going to do courses, that discipline doesn't come. You go nowadays, clothes are available in the evening. People sit at home and log in from US and different time, India different time, and they study. There's no discipline in all that thing. So that you can never learn without going to university or college. Because academics, yeah, you can do homeschooling, you can do home thing, you can do online education. But the rest of the things, like how you say analytical skills don't come without exploring that. This kind of skills also will never come. So
Mm.
that is what is main important in going to think. And obviously, an experienced professor, what he tells, his journey or his knowledge is different from what you learn from what is there in the book. Or for example,
Or online.
if I ask what is the difference between reading a book and watching a movie of the same, like you must have watched Harry Potter, right? Or there's one who's read Harry Potter. Children read more. So children, maybe your son has read Harry Potter book. So what is the difference? You ask the person, they like the book more than
Mm.
watching the movie. So what's the big difference about watching it?
Mm.
I'm asking you if you know the difference.
I think
When
it's
you watch
because,
a movie,
yeah,
you're watching the director's perspective.
correct,
But
correct.
when
When
you
you are
read a
reading,
story,
it is
it's
your
all narration.
imagination. Mm.
Yeah. So that's the big difference between, going to college and not going to a university
Yeah.
degree.
No,
Because,
I
and
love
that is the knowledge of
that.
every professor you get. Because
Mm.
every professor has got his perspective of that subject, right? And he implements it on you. But when you read it from the book, you will learn it your way.
Mm.
So maybe you will not know how to use it because the professor will give you that use. So that's a
Mm.
big difference about education and going to school and learning.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my vision on that.
Perfect. So when you I know we can actually talk about this for the whole day, but
Yeah.
since we don't
Hold
have
on.
much time more, I'd like to quickly come
True, true.
to your vision about your company, and as an entrepreneur, what are the biggest lessons that you have learned so far?
Mm. Lessons I have learned. See, as I told you, I'm pretty new in it. My biggest thing was I took the risk
Mm.
of starting an organization on my own.
Mm.
When I started this, if you ask me my vision, to be frank, when I want, because obviously there is a monetary part which says, do I have to invest to start a company? Because if it's an investment on my own, it has to be worth it, and I need to be capable enough for it, right? Otherwise, I can't because everything is money, right? Like whether you start a website, promotion, blah blah, etc., etc., it just adds on. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
So I had a small mind map done and a small A4 sheet paper, stuck it on my study area, and I was sitting over it for say maybe 2 months.
Mm.
Like okay, this is what I want to do. So
Mm.
whether it will, whether I can make. And now 2 years down the lane, I have a big chart,
Okay.
and there's a tree with branches.
Wow.
So, education is what I thought career counselor, but this education, even if I'm engaging a KG student or I'm engaging a corporate world, it's still education. So
Mm.
where can I branch? What all can I do? So I made a big tree, all posters and everything stuck on it. So
Mm.
it's like kind of a vision board for me now that it's not that I've started all of it, but I know where I have to lead on. So it's
Correct.
like every day there is a new idea, there's a new vision, there's a new thing that where all I can fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Because filling in the gaps is what you need to do. And what I, as a passionate person, I think from the conversation, that I'm like kind of dedicated, passionate person. It is for me like, I need to get that gaps done. If we don't do, somebody has to do it, right?
Yeah.
If everybody takes it as a profession and everybody takes it as a obviously a business, then it's not going to fill in the gap. People
Mm.
think, oh, you'll get business, you get student, okay, we'll make business, we'll send, we have to run the corporate world. That's different for them.
Yeah.
For me, no, it's not like that. I need to make a difference. I need to see that where all is available. So people, when they think, oh, this course I need, and they should be okay, this is the only person who provides that, that kind of a vision is what I need. So I've given myself 3 years of time, and I'm like, okay, I'll give myself 3 years time. No looking into profit, no looking into loss. I'll just work. So creating visibility is what I'm working on, as we already discussed on that, right? I need to do create my visibility. I need to be there, present everywhere possible. And so I
Mm,
reach out to people. Networking is what I concentrate quite a lot.
mm,
And alongside whatever we have students and we don't have students, that kind of thing is going on. Even yesterday, I was in the, two universities here trying to see how we can collaborate on it. And, so I'm working on all the other things. As I said, my now my vision is a tree and I have to work on increasing the branches. Then comes the flowers also, the fruits and flowers. When everything is ready, that's when I have my, the gain is when it starts flowering and blossoming.
yeah,
So
of course.
yeah, I'm patient.
Yeah. One of the traits of successful entrepreneurs is, of course, there are so many traits, but one is that the ability to see things which others cannot see, and the vision.
Yes,
And when you spoke about your
true.
tree and the flowers and everything, maybe people who don't understand it, or people around surroundings may not may think that you're crazy. I mean, that's how all entrepreneurs are. But in the
True.
end, when it actually flowers, people will understand. So you just have to be patient, as you rightly
Yes. Patience and confidence. That's all. The doctor in me has given that patience part of it to have that,
said.
calmness and understanding and to, take it sorted. Like we get sorted things when things are thing and group it.
Yeah. So that actually, brings me to the last and important question. What is that one message that you want to give to the world as Dr. Bobby Rao? What are you standing for? Of course, we talked about so much of that, but if you like to distill it to a very short message to every parent or every student out there, what will it be?
As a person, I can say that, you know explore as much as possible, because it's not that you don't have timelines now. Back days you used to say grade 12, 18 years, grade, they used to have those timelines. Now you have student 60 years going and sitting in universities are open for 45, 60, so explore. You could not do it back then for younger kids. I mean, who are already working, explore now. The
Yeah.
younger ones, your children, make them explore while at school. Get them to do know everything.
Mm,
There's another saying which I strongly believe, which I was told by my dean, so from my university: your eyes do not see what your mind does not know. You
mm,
tell it again, you will not see what your mind does not know. So if you do not explore, you will never know what's available. When
mm,
you don't know what's available, how will you explore? So when you explore, your horizons change, your vision changes. So you start looking things on the other side, on the brighter side. So explore and then find your passion. It's not necessary for an 16-year-old to say what you want to do. So stop asking your children what you want to become, because you need to ask your children, where do you want to grow, how do you want to establish, how do you want to move out, how do you want to flourish in your life, just not what you want to become, because nobody can point out and say what you want to become in when they're children. Like, people at relatives coming home, they ask, what do you want to become? Everybody will say doctor, engineer, so they're all happy. But the child doesn't even know what doctor engineering is. You understand what I'm saying?
mm,
So you are not letting the child explore. You're giving them what they have to become right at age. So stop doing that. Make the child explore. Now it's a vision. You need to explore. And there are kids who are studying in international schools. They are exploring. I'm not going to say no,
mm,
because their vision is like that. They're analytical. So especially, I mean, there's no hard and fast. I'm a CBSE student, but CBSE teaches you good academics. Very good. I mean, I'm a CBSE student. I know how it is. Even till today, they're teaching very good. But where are you utilizing that? Where are you using that?
mm.
Small example I always tell in the crowd: E is equal to MC squared. I learnt it, you learnt it, the parents learnt it, children are learning it. But I'm sure nobody knows where it's used. I mean, not the physics students, obviously. So I'm saying if you explore it, you will know where your vision leads you.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest quality and biggest request I tell all the parents. Awareness and exploration will really lead you to your path. If you can't, come to a career counselor, not just me, but any career counselor who can guide you through that path, who will show you the path. That's the
Perfect.
biggest message, I think. I speak.
That is a really powerful message. Thank you so much, Dr. Bobby Rao. And I'm really hopeful that in the coming years, parents as well as students have better opportunity to learn more about themselves, as you rightly said, to explore themselves before taking a decision, which is very important. And again, for people, for the audience who are confused about what to choose, when to choose, how to choose, all you have to do is to contact Dr. Bobby Rao and her company, Top Career Guide, if you are based in the Dubai. I think you also provide service outside Dubai. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, anywhere because it's now
Anyway,
online service, so
everything
they
is
can reach us
online.
from any part of the world. We have students from
Perfect.
Kuwait, we have students from India, so
Perfect.
anywhere in the world. Because we have 35 in 35 different countries we operate with admissions.
Oh,
So
wow. That's brilliant.
we just connect the dots. Yeah, so we know how to connect and where to connect the dots. You all you have to do is just give us a call, and we even take them through the journey. We have teams for other things. You want Ivy League, you want German, you want Malaysia. We have different teams, so we connect them to the teams. So it's just that, as I said, one-stop solution for your children's education need.
Yes, so for all such needs, contact Dr. Bobby Rao. And to the
Thank
audience
you.
and viewers of SheSight Magazine, she's also our She Power Club member. So do interact with her during the club interactions where you can ask questions and get peer mentoring as well from her wonderful expertise in this area. Thank you so much, Dr. Bobby
So
Rao, for joining us in this episode of She Power podcast. And it has been fascinating to listen to your journey as well as the insights that you gave to the audience. I wish you all the very best for all the flowers from the big tree that you're going to build in the coming years.
thank you so much. If my talk is going to make a difference even to one student or one parent, that's going to be my inspiration starting point. That's how I take it. Every time I talk, every time I make a public talk, I see at least one person from the crowd. It should make a difference. That's my target or a vision, you can say, for the time being. As you say, as the flowers are going to bloom, so my target and my vision is going to increase. But yeah, smaller ones, smaller targets are
Thank
better to
you.
achieve.
Thank you, and see you next time.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Hello everyone. Before you move on to the next video, I have a request to make. If you like this video and this podcast, if you gain some valuable information out of this video, I would request you to click on the subscribe button as well as follow us on our social media pages. The links are given in our description. Also, do sign up to our website www.shesightmag.com. We have amazing women stories as well as various women initiatives that are getting launched in the coming months. I'll see you there.